Welcome to an interview with the runner Washington. Keenan Gray here. We have Kentwood senior, Emma Pollak, sprinter, hurdler. She pretty much can just do every single event because she is just that athletic. She'll be running for the University of Colorado next winter and spring. She joins us here talking about her amazing career at Kentwood High School. Emma, it's a pleasure to have you on. First of all, not a lot of many people know you because this has predominantly been a distance website, but give us a little bio about yourself.
I am a sprinter and hurdler at Kentwood High School. I mainly focus on the 400 and the 300 hurdles, but this year I started running the 1 and the 2. I run all the relays, and I guess that's about it.
It's pretty short and sweet, and it's pretty simple, and I think people will gather it at home. So last year, COVID took everything away, and you would have been in the running for a state championship in the hurdles last season. Talk about that process a little bit and how you managed to come to realizations like, dang, this is not going to happen this season.
Yeah, it was definitely tough at first when we heard we weren't going to have a season last year when I was coming off such a strong season from sophomore year. But I was able to make adjustments and make sure to stay in shape. And then once this season came and they said we weren't going to have state again, that was really disappointing as well. But I was just grateful that we got to have a season this year because the way it was going, it seemed like for a while, the Kent School District wasn't going to let us have sports. And so I was personally just grateful to have a senior season at least and be able to have as many meets as we did, I guess, and even to have just leagues.
Well, even in the COVID season, you had an opportunity to go down to Las Vegas and race with your club, Extreme Speed Academy. What was that meet like? And finally to get back into racing, because for some of them, it's a little challenging to finally get rid of the rust busters.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot different than doing the virtual meets that I had been doing during the summer season. And I'm definitely glad we got to go down there and do that because I finally got to race against actual people rather than just times. And so that was really nice, but it was definitely tough having to go down there in that heat and still try to run in my first meet, I guess, of the season and traveling and in the heat still. But it was definitely a great opportunity to be able to race at least in one big, I guess, meet during COVID.
Now, because you also played soccer as well, club soccer to be exact, this fall you would have played, but unfortunately there was no soccer during the WIA fall season. Instead, they had moved it into January. So you probably just had to focus on track. How was the training piece right there for you in the wintertime?
That was definitely crucial because I was finally able to do preseason, which I had never been able to do before because of soccer and doing basketball. And so being able to take the time and actually work on my blocks and my acceleration and all that during preseason definitely helped me this season. And I even got to start lifting weights at Legerity, and that really helped too, build my strength. And so that was definitely a key part to my season this year.
So moving forward, obviously everything is back to back to back. All sports are pretty much just crammed up into one entire single block of months or whatever exactly it is. Kind of just reflect on the fact that you realize that track and field is going to be so short, but you have so little time to run as fast as you can. Talk about this season a little bit.
That was definitely difficult knowing that it was my last season at Kentwood and it was cut so short and I'd been working all this time just to have this little snippet of a season. But it definitely pushed me to, even when there wasn't a lot of people running or there wasn't a lot of competition, just to keep my own personal goals in mind. And it was really important to recognize and understand what I wanted to do with my short season at the very beginning and set goals for myself and be able to stick to that. And that was really what pushed me over the season and helped me get to the times I was able to get.
So you talk about not as much competition as you would see at the state meet. So who kept you motivated throughout the season? It could have been yourself, it could have been coaches, could have been parents. Who out there was the big motivating factor in your success this season?
I think it was just like the goals that I had set for myself, and my coaches helped me realize what goal like was capable of reaching. And that was really just what kept me motivated, was just thinking of what I wanted to run this season and knowing that I had a short time to do it, that I just had to go out there every meet and just run it like I couldn't run it again, because with 5 meets you can't really do much with that unless you really push how to keep in mind the goals that I was striving to get to.
And when you talked about in a short season, you're trying new things. Predominantly, you are a longer distance sprinter, but this year you got to do a lot of the 100 and 200. And quite frankly, you were the best in the entire state this season, ranked number one in both events. What was that like? And just the feeling that the work you put in and realizing, wow, I can just do more than the 400-meter and the hurdles.
It was definitely like shocking, because I never pictured myself as like a 1-2 runner. I mean, I had ran like the 4x1 and the 4x2 my sophomore season, but I definitely was not nearly as fast as the other girls on the relay. And so being able to come in and run those times that I had, it was definitely a big shock, but it really was like the biggest sign that all the work I'd put in during quarantine and all the restrictions during COVID, like the year leading up to this season, had really paid off. So it was really nice to be able to see like such a big drop in my actual times and be able to run these races that I didn't necessarily feel the need to run before. And it was just really gratifying seeing that.
And of course, you broke the 12-second barrier. You're the only person to break 12 seconds this season in the state of Washington. And you were so close the first two attempts before the NPSL championship meet, 12.02, 12.01, but then you finally run 11.93. What was that feeling like crossing the finish line in that, what is basically your state championship meet?
It just it just kind of felt relieving knowing that like I actually like broke that, comparing to what I had been at like the season before when I ran the open one maybe once, and then just like 1 2 years later running it again and breaking 12. It was just like so crazy, and it was really just hard to wrap my mind around that. Like I don't think I've still like fully comprehended that I ran an 11.93, and it's just so crazy to me think that at the beginning of the season I was running like a 12.2, and now I'm at 11.93. It's just so crazy.
And in the hurdles, first of all, we know you've killed it in the hurdles, but you finally broke the Kentwood school record this season. And when you did that at your final meet, it just seems like a big relief. Like it's just that's your state championship winning right there, your mentality right there. What was that feeling like once you found out you broke that school record?
It was just like like such a reward, because my sophomore season, as my times got faster, like that was like the ultimate goal, was to beat the school record. And I ran like a 43.95, which was, I mean, kind of close to the school record. And so when we were gonna have a junior season, I was like this is gonna be the time I'm gonna beat it. But obviously with COVID we couldn't. And so this season I was like, well, like it has to be now. And I really had no idea how I was gonna be able to come into this season with hurdles, having that I hadn't ran the 300 hurdles since sophomore year. And so being able to run like I did this season in the hurdles and finally get that time, which I had been striving after sophomore year, was just so relieving. Like the same feeling with the 100 and breaking that record. It was just so gratifying.
Well, not very many people can say they can get to run collegiately, especially at a Pac-12 school. You're going to be running for Colorado for the next 4 years. So, what led to the decision for you to run in Boulder and join Ralphie and company at that school? Because it's Colorado. They've been getting a lot of Washington people as of recently.
Um, I think it was definitely like the coaches and their program down there, seeing that they seem to have like really strong 400 hurdle focus there, which is definitely my favorite event out of all. And their 400 meters are also strong too. And just like the focus they put in on their hurdle program, and going to the school and visiting and just seeing like their campus and everything, like it definitely felt like the right fit. and I definitely don't want to pass up on an opportunity to run Pac-12. And so it was just like the right decision for me to make.
Of course, living in Boulder is probably one of the most beautiful campuses in the entire Pac-12 with all the mountains in the back. So you can't complain whatsoever about going to live in Colorado. But hopefully the elevation won't get quite to you, although maybe that doesn't affect sprinters as much as it does with distance runners. But, you know, you look back at your entire career and, of course, all the accolades you've had. But what do you think you're most proud of for yourself? And I know you're a 4.0 student, is that correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously, academics are a huge part of your high school career. But just looking back, what was your favorite memories of high school?
Um, I'd say just being able to see my growth since freshman year in both athletics and as a person and academics. It's just crazy how much you can change in 4 years. And so just being able to put that into perspective and reflect on the past 4 years and see where I was and come now is just so crazy.
And of course, I mean, your sister played a big part in this as well. Like, she's the one that got you involved with track and field. What has she meant to you? But also your parents as well, because your parents are huge supporters of you as well.
If it wasn't for my sister, I always watched her track meets when I was in middle school, and she was a senior and I was a freshman. And so getting to run with her my freshman year and her guiding me through the whole track season was really special. And I don't think I would have had like the experience I did if she hadn't been there. And I don't know if I hadn't had that experience, I don't know if I would have stayed with track. And so she definitely played a big role in me sticking with the sport and continuing to grow. And my parents and their support has just meant so much. I mean, you can't really go anywhere if you don't have some kind of support. And they've just supported like every decision I've made and really helped me grow as a person.
And then both your club and your high school coaches, what have they meant to you?
Um, well, my club coach is also my high school coach. And so they've really helped a lot. And my hurdle coach, too, is also on my club team. And so having like that connected, like it's not really like a huge switch between high school and club team. So that's been nice. Just having it just the same, just being able to continue like my programming and everything has been really nice. They've just supported me and like helped me with trying to navigate events and meets and everything. So that has been really nice and helping me during quarantine by sending like workouts and everything and putting in the time at the track with me. It just meant a lot.
Well, Emma, it's been really fun to watch you progress this season. And from where you were as a freshman to your senior year, you probably wouldn't have expected to see yourself in the position you are in right now because what you've done. I mean, you look at the times on athletic.net, and of course, you were great at the longer sprints, but who would have thought you would be even better at the shorter sprints? And it's just been fun all season long. And like I said, you have earned that Sprinter of the Year award as well. But I'm going to tell you this personally. You were a finalist for Athlete of the Year. Emma, congratulations. You are Athlete of the Year for the Runner Washington. You've earned it this year. I mean, you ranked number one in many events this season. And congratulations. You are the Athlete of the Year for the girls this season.
Thank you so much. That means so much.
So, Emma, it's been a privilege talking with you, getting to know you. Best of luck for the rest of the school year, just finishing off, just graduating. It's a big accomplishment, and of course, you're going off to do bigger and better things at the University of Colorado, which I'm excited to see you compete in the Pac-12s eventually, and hopefully see you compete at the NCAAs in the near future. So I appreciate your time and thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.